The storyteller archetype. The storyteller at the tribal level can be that person who embellishes a story a lot. If somebody lost $5,000, the storyteller will tell them, well, it was at least $10,000 or whatever that they lost. And the storyteller can embellish because they think they'll look better in the eyes of the people they're telling the story to. It'll make them stand up and notice them more, because behind the storyteller at the tribal level is a low sense of self-esteem. But they mask it in the storyteller. It can also be the person who loves telling a story because they love capturing the audience with a joke or whatever they're telling, and they definitely have the gift of the gab, but they love the accolades that they receive from telling the story. It can also be the person whose childhood was so horrible, so horrific, so dangerous to them that they made up a story that, and it's akin to the fantasy archetype, they made up a story that had no bearing on the reality, so they lived in another world. They told themselves another story. At the symbolic level, you again, as with a lot of the archetypes, you do the work that is necessary and you stop embellishing because the facts are enough. You don't need to embellish and make it into a lie. The truth is fine. The truth is always what's necessary. In the case of the person who made up the story because it's so painful for them, they come to terms with their past. They understand the bigger picture and why they've created this, and they forgive and they move on. So it's all about growth at the level of the symbolic archetype of the storyteller. And at that level too, you start to tell, in quotes, the divine story, the understanding of what your heart is giving out as the truth. There's no need to embellish or no need to live in fantasy. No need to have to be the raconteur so people will approve of you. You start to tell the divine story and you're not embarrassed, you're not ashamed. You tell it simply because it's the truth and simply because it comes from your heart. And it's a wonderful skill to have, the storyteller at the symbolic level.